Hello, my loves. Let's talk about mistakes you might think that you're making when it comes to connecting with your spirit guides. And actually, they're not a mistake. I remember meeting my spirit guide, Sunny, for the first time 12 years ago and being so presumptive and so blasé about the whole process in that, yeah, I'm probably going to meet my spirit guide. I'm going to meditate, having never meditated before. And I just assumed that everything was going to happen perfectly. I don't know why. I don't know why I had that assumption. It paid off, obviously. And that wasn't a mistake. Some people would call it ego. Maybe it was. But here's the takeaway from that. What you might be feeling and thinking is ego, is a block, doubt, might actually be the key to that connection. So me being maybe egoic, assuming that the connection's going to happen, meditating for the first time and being very, very hopeful, yeah, everything's going to work out. And it did. There was a connection. And even though things didn't unfold how I expected to, there was a lot more work involved, there was a lot more effort, there was a lot happened that I did not think would happen and that I would at the time would not associate with spirit guides and spiritual gifts and all of that kind of thing. What I've heard a lot of people say, no, that's a mistake. That's a block to connecting with your spirit guides. Actually, for me, wasn't. Like going in and just going, you know what, everything's okay. I'm going to assume that this energy being that I'm seeing within my mind, within my imagination, is my spirit guide. Why? Because I feel safe, because I feel good seeing him, because for the first time in my life I'm actually curious about what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. I feel safe in my body for the first time to actually ask questions that aren't censored in any way. And if you follow me on Facebook and you followed my journey, and I talk a lot about my journey over on Facebook, and if you subscribe here, you're going to learn a lot about my journey. Before I met my spirit guides, I was one of those people that nothing came out of my mouth unless I thought it was pleasing somebody else, unless it was going to validate somebody else. It was one of the big reasons I wanted to meet my spirit guide, because I wanted them to fix me. I wanted them to make everything else better in my world. So before you start calling something a mistake, I want you to go, well, is it really? Or is it actually a projection that someone else has placed upon me? Is it a conditioning? Is it a bias? Is it a mindset? Or actually, could it be helpful to my connection? Because ultimately, spirit guides don't give a shit. They do not care about whether you have your words in the right order. They don't care whether your home looks a mess when you're calling them in. What is important is your intention, your heart. That's what's at the core. Not how things are not how things are dressed up. I'm going to tell you about a time where I was throwing a tantrum and I, by this point, I had a very solid, strong relationship to my spirit guide, Sunny. He would give me advice, guidance. I would hear very, very clearly, feel, see. You know, we were pretty close. And so you'd expect that things would change on the outside for me, but they weren't. They would change temporarily, and then it felt like they would go back. They'd go back to how things were, similar to before I met my spirit guide. Now, on reflection, that was because I wasn't actually allowing what I was experiencing with my spirit guide, that to be embodied outward. And I remember one time saying to him, why aren't things working out for me? Like, I hear you, I see you. Like, what's the point? And he basically said it was because I was being ungrateful. I wasn't truly acting on the advice. I was hearing the advice, I was seeing the advice, but I wasn't embodying it. Lots of people, they want to know their spirit guides, they want to hear them, they want to see them, they want to feel them, but they don't then go, but am I going to embody this guidance? How am I going to act on this guidance? How am I going to live this guidance? They're very quick to assume, like I was, oh, the seeing will be enough, the hearing will be enough. But even before that, they're already going, well, I can't see, I can't hear, I can't feel. We are seeing, hearing, and feeling a multitude of experiences all day, every day. So, to begin with, you have to learn to differentiate between what's yours. And when I say what's yours, I mean, okay, what's the stuff that feels fake for you? What's the stuff that feels like it has no depth, has no value, has no consistency, has no kind of purpose in the life that you have chosen to live, you desire, compared to, okay, I had a thought, I had a feeling, I had an awareness, I had an experience that felt real, that felt really valid, that felt like something that opened my eyes, that opened my perception. I'm remembering now as I say that, I just moved into this house, I'd got out of a domestically abusive relationship, and that was one of the activational points for going, you know what? Yeah, I really do need to meet my spirit guides because I'm lost here. I feel so alone. Single parent to 3 children. My youngest was like barely 6 months. Like I was stood in the middle of this room and I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I'm in a town where nobody knows me. I have no job. What do I do? And I just plonked myself on the floor, and that's how things started. So I definitely wasn't high vibing it. And so Sunny came in, and I remember thinking, ooh, This feels like freedom. This feels like fun. I actually like being in my own head here. You have to learn to give yourself an opportunity, a permission slip to start playing around with your own feelings, your own thoughts, your own senses, and being curious about them. Shortly after that, when I started going, okay, I'm safe to be in my own head, because if I'm not safe to be in my own head, when my spirit guides drop in a message, how am I going to know it's from them? How am I going to know it's from me? And I was cleaning up one day and a picture frame fell off the wall. And I had music playing, so that helped me to feel pretty grounded. Because if you don't feel grounded and you don't feel, chill in your body, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of separate and know the difference. Okay, is this spirit, is this intuition? And your intuition is like, it's like the having the correct phone number to dial into your spirit guides. And I was like, oh, okay, it's okay, I'll just clean it up. It is what it is. No panic, no, oh, that's so frustrating. It was completely, oh well, neutral. And I started sweeping it up, and all of a sudden, I felt this light pour through me, this recognition of, like, I've made it. I've made it. It felt like a healing moment. And my spirit guides didn't need to give me a dialogue. They didn't need to give me an instruction. It was purely they were communicating to me through how I was feeling. And I cried and I sobbed, and then I started laughing. Because for me, that moment basically validated I was safe. I was safe in my own body. I was safe in my own space, in my own environment. Because if that had happened a few months prior, that picture frame falling off the wall would have triggered me into anxiety, panic, worry. I would have beaten up on myself. I would have called myself a whole host of horrible names. But because of this connection I'd started to develop with my spirit guides, I had begun to develop a relationship with myself that was all about compassion and love and self-acceptance and awareness. And those are the moments that matter. The picture frame falling off the wall and smashing was a catalyst for an opportunity for me to connect. There are so many opportunities like that, but we've been taught that they need to happen in very clean, like lab type conditions, and they don't. Life is the opportunity for connection. And so I just want to leave that with you. You're not making any mistakes. Nothing is a block to connection. You're being connected with all of the time. Maybe you're just simply kind of tuned in to maybe the wrong channel. But know this, you are the channel. And maybe reminding yourself of that you are not the wrong channel. That simply saying, you know what? Regardless of how I feel, I am supported. I am okay. Might begin to bring to your awareness those signs, those synchronicities, those little kind of tidbits of, oh, yes, I see. And the more you begin to validate, yes, I'm being communicated with, that confidence will evolve, that relationship with your guides will evolve, and you will see just how beautiful that relationship gets to be.